Wisdom Wednesday. I am Anel Lee, your host, bringing you raw and authentic wisdom so you too can implement, establish, and enforce boundaries in your life. Today, I am going to be discussing how lack of boundaries can affect your mental health. Your mental health encompasses your emotional well-being, your psychological well-being, as well as your social well-being. And it influences the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we act. You see, having healthy boundaries contributes to a more fulfilled life. It contributes to having healthier relationships. It contributes to you being more productive. It contributes to effective stress management. So let's talk about the 3 consequences on your mental health when you don't establish boundaries, when you don't have clear, defined boundaries. So for starters, it's going to cause stress and overwhelm. Secondly, it's going to cause burnout and exhaustion. And lastly, it's going to cause issues in your relationship. Let's break each of these sections down. So, stress and overwhelm. If you are stressed and overwhelmed, it often means that you have difficulty prioritizing. You're overcommitting. You're saying yes when in fact you should be saying no. You're taking on projects at work. It could be social events. It could be roles and responsibilities at home when you should not be taking on. You're spreading yourself thin. It could also mean that you have an ability to say no. You are saying yes to everything because you are scared to upset people. You're scared of rejection. You want to people please. And if you're stressed and overwhelmed, it could also mean you're not scheduling personal time. You're not scheduling that time for relaxation. You're not scheduling that reset time. You're not scheduling the self-care time. Listen, I am a huge advocate on self-care. My nail time, right now I don't have nails, but that's because I'm getting healthy nail beds, okay? But most of the time I have my nails done. I make sure that I'm getting haircuts. I make sure that I'm getting massages on a regular basis. I'm making sure that I'm setting my downtime on Sunday, because if I don't set my downtime, I'm going to be in a pissy mood for the rest of the week. I'm going to be overworking. I'm going to be disorganized and my mind is going to be all over the place. So I make sure to schedule that reset time. I make sure that I'm not getting stressed and overwhelmed because I'm not overcommitting. I am prioritizing effectively. I am saying no to things that I don't want to take on, and I am scheduling that personal time. Secondly, burnout and exhaustion. If you don't have boundaries, it's going to lead to burnout and exhaustion because, again, you're spreading yourself thin. You are overcommitting. You are overworking. And when you're overworking, it's going to decrease your productivity because your mind is not mentally there. Physically, you're not all there. So you're not thinking clearly. Your body is tired. It's asking you. It's begging you for rest. And then it's going to lead into physical health issues. It could lead to insomnia because now you're overthinking. It could lead to you dreaming about all the tasks that you have to do the next day. It could also lead to headaches. It could lead to body aches, which then could bleed into mental health issues, which is going to be depression, which is going to be anxiety, which is going to be irritability. So all these things are tied in together. Your boundaries is really, or lack of boundaries is really tied into your overall well-being. So don't think that it's selfish of you to establish boundaries. Lastly, how it's going to affect your relationships. It's going to cause you to have resentment because you're saying yes to things you should be saying no to. You're taking on projects that you're that you shouldn't be taking on. It's going to cause communication breakdowns because now, remember, I've told you, you teach people how to treat you. So you're teaching them that it's okay to overwhelm you. It's teaching them to rely on you when they shouldn't be relying on you. It's going to break down your communication because it could lead to misunderstanding. And those misunderstandings could cause conflict, which could cause the emotional turmoil. Then it may also have loss of individuality, loss of autonomy, because now you may become enmeshed in other people's lives. Now you're losing your identity. What is it that I like? What is it that I don't like? Look, when I didn't have boundaries, or when I didn't have clear boundaries, I was a chameleon. I did what other people wanted to do. I pleased other people. I had no identity. And then I realized when I left my last marriage of 10 years, it took me a long time to identify who was Anel, because my whole identity was on my children. My whole identity was on my ex-husband, around his life, around his military life. And I took time where I didn't date. I just tried new things that I thought that I wouldn't like, that I ended up still not liking, and then finding things that I thought that I didn't like, and I found that I did like them. So if you don't have those clear boundaries, you're going to lose that identity. And not having identity is not only going to affect you personally, but it could also affect you professionally. Then it could lead to toxic relationships because you are opening the door to those toxic cycles being able to perpetuate. You're leaving the door open for people to manipulate you, for people to use you, for people to burden you. So establishing boundaries empowers you, because now you are deciding, where am I going to allocate my time, my energy, my resources, which ultimately is going to lead to a more fulfilled life. I hope that you found this information helpful. And if you took anything out of this, is that establishing and maintaining boundaries can significantly improve your mental health. If you found this video helpful, please share it. Please subscribe to my channel and turn your notifications on. And I will see you all next week for more wisdom.